Hi guys, happy Sunday, happy Memorial Day weekend. If you cannot hear me, please let me know in the chat. And if you can hear me, feel free to say hi. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I'm not going to talk long because I know people probably have plans for the weekend. I know I have plans for the weekend. So yeah, I can't talk long even if I wanted to. But I knew I had to come on here and share this message. So whether the mic is working or not, because I don't know if it's working, as long as you guys can hear me, that's all that matters. But yeah, I had to make sure that I got this message off. And today's message is going to be about why you need to be humble in order to be a great leader. What inspired this message today was and you might not be familiar with this, but if you're not, I'll, explain. But the whole Dr. Cheyenne Bryant situation, where people are questioning her about her degrees because she calls herself a doctor, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. And she says she has multiple degrees, 3 doctorate degrees, but she hasn't shown any proof. And people have been asking her if you really are a doctor, or at the very least, if you have a doctorate, why don't you just show it? But she refuses to show any type of proof, not even a diploma. Literally nothing. She refuses to show any proof. And her response to everybody is, I don't need to prove myself to anybody. I only need to prove myself to God, or I'm validated by God. I don't need other people to validate me, or like trying to beat around the bush, pretty much giving every excuse under the sun. She gave the excuse that the school that she graduated from, the school that she got her doctorate from, the school closed down. And she's like, when I tried to call the school, I saw that they were closed down. Then I called this third party that takes care of the records for the school, and they don't have my records. They say they only hold records for 2 years. And let's be clear, I don't have a college degree. I dropped out of college. But I am smart enough to know, regardless of if the school you graduated from closed or not, you can still get your records. You can still get your transcripts. You can still have your diploma mailed to you if you don't already have it. And here's the thing, I don't know nobody that has a college degree that does not have their diploma. Most people that have a degree, they have their diploma hung up somewhere. And even if they don't, they at least have possession of it. Or maybe one of their parents have possession of it. But the bottom line is they have access to at least their diploma. So the fact that this woman is not willing to give any proof, even show a diploma, in my opinion, I don't believe she really has a doctorate degree. She does have 2 honorary doctorate degrees. She definitely, talked about that. But I don't believe she went to college and graduated with her doctorate. And guess what? That is okay. That doesn't make you any more or less of a person. But what's not okay is you lying about your credentials and calling yourself a doctor when you're not. When you don't have a doctorate degree. And you're trying to say that you do, because here's the thing, whether we realize it or not, when somebody has doctor in front of their name, subconsciously, you trust that person more. You believe what they say. You see them as intelligent or more knowledgeable. So with you running around calling yourself doctor whatever, you know that part of the reason why you're probably lying and saying that you are a doctor, you have a doctorate degree, blah blah blah, calling yourself a doctor, is because you know that people are more willing to trust you and believe you as well. And I don't want to demonize the woman because the video isn't really about her, but that situation that she has going on definitely inspired this message because I was thinking to myself, the fact that you don't have the humility to either be honest and say that you were lying and say, you know what, I do have two honorary doctorates and I did go to school to get my doctorate, but I didn't finish. I didn't graduate. Whatever the truth is, you don't have the humility to either be honest and say that you were lying and, and that you really don't have a doctorate degree, or you don't have the humility to show proof if you really do have a doctorate degree. Any great leader, if any great leader was in that predicament, in that situation, first of all, I'm gonna be real, they wouldn't have lied in the first place. That's a big deal to lie about. That's you lying about your credentials when you're giving mental health advice and counseling people, coaching people, whatever the case. And she claimed that she used to be a licensed therapist. All these different things that you're claiming, you lying about something like that is a big deal. That shows a lack of integrity. So I'm gonna be real. A great leader probably wouldn't have lied about that in the first place. But let's say they did and they made that mistake. At the very least, they would come forth and come clean, be honest, and apologize and explain their reasoning behind it. But the fact that she's not willing to do either or, the fact that she's not willing, that she has the arrogance to be like, y'all need to just take my word for it. I told y'all I got degrees. I don't need to show y'all. You actually do. If you're a great leader, if you care about the people that follow you, that you are giving guidance to, you will want to show proof of that so that they will trust you. You wouldn't feel offended like I don't got nothing to prove to y'all. I gotta, if that was me personally, if I had a doctorate degree and I was calling myself Dr. Kyla, Dr. Muhammad, whatever, and people was questioning me and calling me a fraud and saying I don't have degrees, you best believe I'm coming through with the receipts. Not just so I can prove everybody wrong and shut people up, but because I don't want the people that follow me and trust me to question whether or not I'm being honest, whether or not my intentions are good, and whether or not they can trust me. So, like I said, I was just thinking to myself, like, this woman, she is kind of arrogant. She's kind of like in her ego. Because, like I said, if you are a great leader, you're going to be honest because you're going to have integrity. But also, when you're a great leader, you care more about serving. You care the most about serving the people that come to you, not about your image, not about how people perceive you. If you are truly a good leader, if you are truly a great leader, your main motive is to help people and to serve people. But a lot of people who call themselves leaders or people that are in positions of leadership, a lot of times you'll come across people who they call themselves a leader or they want to be a leader or whatever the case, but they have a lot of ego. They have a lot of ego, and a lot of the things they do are to feed their ego. It's not to truly help people. And a lot of times, they will have a superiority complex. They view themselves as leaders, or they want to be a leader, not because they truly want to help people and guide people in the right direction, but simply because they want to feel superior. They want to feel important. I have my followers. I have my whatever. Like, they want to have a fan base. That's not a true leader. That's not a good leader. And her whole situation, that actually inspired me to want to get certified as a life coach. Because I don't know, some of you might have been following me for a long time, but some of you might be new. But if you're new here, probably, I want to say about a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago. No, it was like a year and a half ago. I started my coaching business. I got my LLC, I have my website, I was, promoting myself even on some of my YouTube videos. If you go back probably like a year or a year and a half ago, I was promoting my coaching business and, saying like, book a session with me on my website, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to give myself credit. In some ways, I was a good leader. I helped prior to me going legit and getting my LLC. I helped quite a bit of people like one on one. There were people that I worked with one on one that, according to them, I'm not like trying to toot my own horn, but according to them, I helped them heal. I helped them evolve, or I helped them in different ways with the advice that I gave and the guidance that I gave, and just different resources and tools that I gave them. But at the same time, looking back, I wasn't as humble as I am now. And I wasn't as humble as I should have been in order to be a great leader. And I believe that's why my business didn't go anywhere. Prior to me going legit, I was getting paid like close like friends and people that knew me were like coming to me for advice and like paying me to like coach them and help them. But as soon as I went legit and I got my LLC and I had my website, literally for that whole year that I had my coaching business, I did not get one person book a session with me. Not one person booked a session. I would have people that would reach out and inquire about it, but they would never book. And, I was just so frustrated with God because I'm like, God, you gave me this vision. I know that I've always known that I was meant to do this type of work, but I don't, I can't make people come to me. Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And looking back on it, I'm like, Kylie, you weren't ready. You needed to be humbled some more. You definitely. I was, and I don't want to make it seem like I was just completely arrogant, but looking back, I'm like, yeah, I was in my ego in some ways because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt like I know everything. I have all the answers. Like, until life started lifing and I started battling and struggling mentally. And that's not to say like, oh, if you're a great leader or if you're a therapist or a life coach, you have to be perfect. You can't have any mental battles or struggles. But at the same time, me having the battles and struggles that I had during that period, that made me realize I wasn't ready. That made me realize not only was I not ready, but that I didn't have all the answers, and that I never will have all the answers, and I have to be humble enough to admit that and accept that, and not be thinking that I got the answer for everything that somebody is going through. Because there's people that might come to me that are going through something that I've never been through, and I have to have the humility to be able to empathize with them, but also not act like I have all the answers. But just try to guide them through that, that hard time or that process or whatever they're going through. So yeah, I kind of felt like I had all the answers. I healed and I overcame so much, and there's people that I helped prior to, starting my business. So like I'm ready. Like, in looking back, I realized that I wasn't, because that humility wasn't there. And even so, back to me wanting to get certified as a coach. Obviously, I'm not certified. So that's another thing. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm like, I don't need to be certified. I don't need to be certified. I'm certified by God. Like, that's what I would tell myself, which is partially true. But at the same time, if you want to be a great leader, you're going to want to give the people who come to you, you're going to want to give them your best. And if you really want to help people and you want to be the best at what you do, and you really care about serving the people that come to you and spend their hard earned money with you, because that's another thing. If you're in a position of leadership where you are profiting off that, whether it's a job or you starting your own business or whatever the case is. You have to be considerate of that and mindful of that, that people are spending their hard earned money and they're coming to you because they trust you. And if I want to give the people that follow me, if I want to give them my best, and I really care about helping them to the fullest capacity, why wouldn't I want to be certified as a life coach? I don't want to now. I'm at a point, I'm like, I don't want to be a self proclaimed life coach. I want to be certified because even though, yes, I do believe, I do believe God has possessed me with certain things. And I do believe that God has equipped me with certain things to be able to be a great coach. So I do believe, in some ways I am gifted. There's things that God just put inside me. I don't need anybody to teach me. But at the same time, I also know that there are going to be certain situations or certain people that I come across that I might not know how to deal with them or how to help them without getting the proper training. So I'm like, if I want people to trust me, and I want people to know, if I want people to trust me, I have to be willing to invest in myself and dedicate the time to learn more about my craft and the work that I'm going to be doing. So I had to humble myself and realize, yes, Kyla, you're a good leader, but you could be better. You're a good leader, but you're not a great leader. And in order to be a great leader, you have to be willing to learn. As long as you live, you have to be dedicated to learning and growing and evolving and perfecting your craft or whatever your thing is, because there's so many different leadership roles. There's so many different things that you could be a leader in. You could be a leader in a band. you could be you could be the leader in a soccer team. Like you could be the leader, like you could be the leader of kids. Like you could be a teacher or like have students, like whatever role of leadership you're in. If you really care about serving the people that come to you, you're going to you're going to want to dedicate time to learn more about that thing so you can be better. And here's another thing about being a great leader. A great leader focuses more on service than superiority. When you're really a great leader, the perfect example I can give of a great leader is Jesus. The reason why Jesus was such a great leader is because he was humble. Jesus, the Son of God, the Messiah, was the most humble being you will come across. There's a scripture that says Jesus preferred serving over being served. That says a lot. Because in this day and age, everybody want to be served. I want the royal treatment. I want everything at the palm of my hands. But when you are a true follower of Christ, you understand the importance of serving, being of service to people, using your existence to help somebody else and make somebody else's day better or life better. And that's sorry, I lost my train of thought. Give me 1 second. Matter of fact, let me take a sip of water real quick, y'all. Oh no, it looks like it's about to start thunderstorming. I hear it rumbling a little bit, so I'm about to get off soon. I'm almost done with my sermon. But yeah, back to Jesus. he when he would perform miracles, he wouldn't perform miracles because he was trying to wow the people and prove himself to anybody. When he performed miracles, it was simply to help the person that needed the miracle. He wasn't trying to prove himself to nobody. He actually preferred for there not to be a big crowd around him when he would be performing these miracles, because he wasn't doing it to get praise or attention or to prove anything to anybody. He was doing it strictly to help the other person. That's it. Even when the devil was trying to get him to prove himself to him, like, the devil thought he was slick. He said, if you're really the son of God, jump off the I think he said jump off the highest temple. Pretty much he was trying to trick him into killing himself. But he was saying, like, if you're really the son of God, if you jump off the highest temple and don't die, that'll prove that you're really the son of God. And Jesus was like, I don't got nothing to prove to you. I don't have nothing to prove to you. And that's because Jesus wasn't in his ego. Jesus did not have a big ego. He had a very small ego, if he even had an ego at all. And I know y'all probably like, how you know how Jesus was? I mean, if you read, scripture, and a lot of times when they describe Jesus, they describe him as humble. They describe him as being a servant, like, and he was the son of God. And he still focused on serving and not being served. And that's, like I said, Jesus Christ is the perfect example of a great leader. Now, let me give you a perfect example of somebody that is not a good leader, somebody that is a terrible leader. And I don't want to get political, but I have to use this man as an example. Our president. I hate to say that, but he technically is. Trump. He is a terrible leader. Despite him being charismatic and being able to pull people in, he is a terrible leader. Why? Because he lacks humility. He lacks humility and he lacks empathy. A good leader, a great leader, cares about the people that follow them, that come to them. A great leader has empathy for the people, has empathy for people, and doesn't look down on people or think they're superior to people. Trump has a huge ego. He does not truly care about anybody. Whether you support him or not, he does not care. And he has shown it through his actions and all these different things that he's done I would say he was bad the first time, but he's 10 times worse this second one. This second, I don't know, it's not election because he already won, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. That's how you can tell I'm not super political. So the fact that I'm even bringing this man up is a big deal because I try not to get into all that stuff. But when it comes to him, like, it's completely different. Nothing that I've seen in my lifetime. And he, like I said, he's a terrible leader because he's not humble. He's not humble. He feels like he's above everybody. He doesn't. A true leader is with the people. They don't feel like they're above the people. They're out there with the people. Even Jesus. People make it seem, when people, it cracks me up when I come across Christians who are super strict and, oh, Jesus wouldn't allow this and Jesus wouldn't da 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 and Jesus wouldn't. And it's like, do y'all realize Jesus was around thugs? Jesus wasn't around the goody two shoe, picture perfect people. No, he was out there with the people. Like, think about one of the first disciples that he chose. I don't know if he was his first disciple, but I know he was his disciple, Peter. Peter wasn't little Mr. Perfect. Peter had a potty mouth. Peter cussed like a sailor. Peter had anger issues. He had a temper on him. And guess what? Jesus still chose him as his disciple. Why? Because Peter was loyal. Peter was dedicated. And he saw Peter's heart. So even that shows humility. The fact that Jesus wasn't like, oh no, I need perfect, good modeling citizens to be my disciples. Anybody that's ever sinned or made a mistake or did anything wrong, I can't have them as my disciple. No, he looked past that. He's like, look, I know you ain't perfect. I know you be making your mistakes, but I'm looking at your heart. I'm not looking at the things that people look at on the surface. I'm not looking at the surface level things. I'm looking at your heart. And that shows humility. So But then you have the opposite, like I said, people like Trump who are full of their ego. They don't care about the people they're supposed to be serving. In fact, they feel like y'all should be serving me. I'm the king. I'm the head honcho. That's not a true leader. That's definitely not a good leader. That's a dictator. So here's the thing. If you're in a position of leadership or you want to be, first you need to check your ego. And here's the thing, you can even be a leader if you're a parent. If you're a parent, then you're a leader. Having this dictator mindset or like, do as I say, not as I do, stay in a child's place, da 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 da. Like, I'm sorry, you're not being a good leader. You're not being a good leader to your child. A good leader also leads by example. So if you don't want your kids uh cussing and saying crazy stuff, then I'm sorry, but you gotta watch what you say around them. Now, I'm not saying you can't ever cuss around them, but if they constantly hear you cussing and saying crazy stuff, kids are sponges. They're going to pick up on that. And it's not even really intentional, it's subconscious. So you have to lead by example. But like I said, whatever role of leadership you're in, whether it's a small position of leadership or a big position of leadership, whatever that may be, you first need to check your ego. Are you doing what's in the best interest of the people that follow you? Or are you just doing what feeds your ego and benefits you? That's what you need to be asking yourself. So, yeah, I'm done with my sermon. I'm done yelling at y'all. I'm done preaching. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. Happy Memorial Day. And please make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll see y'all soon.